You're on.
Hey, how you doing? It's really good to be with you from here in Union County, New Jersey. I figure you've seen that video, which I call the female world of knives and rituals. To me, just so I only have a few minutes, get right to the point of it, right to the premise, is that it represents a visual modeling of the pedagogy of the Catholic moral order, Christian moral order. That was an obsessive theme in American Catholic life, I found, between, say, the 1930s and well into the 1960s. The way it works is really simple. You stay put, you stay in your place, nobody gets hurt. If you start moving, if you're moving to the way of those flying knives, it's not the thrower who's knifed you, it's you've walked into the knife. And that's my understanding, I think, of the way the Catholic moral order, as I understood it both experientially and as a historian. I've been fascinated by this theme, and I find it to be really very, very dramatically illustrated in the documentary. This issue of the Catholic moral order and violence, the way it's enforced, and the threats of violence and rhetorical and physical violence, it's something that's, I've suggested for years, it's the thing that's most missing in the literature of American Catholic studies, is a treatment of Catholic violence, which many people, of course, deny such a thing could even exist. But in recent years, we've seen the emergence. There's a literature. Robert Orsi talks about the obsessive need to control Catholic bodies in and around the spaces of churches and parish life, going back to the 1930s and 40s. Steve Rossrum has a book on the Catholics, and the FBI talks about this obsessive concern in Catholic moral order thinking with social disorder, seeing disorder as kind of a dark fluid which must be contained at all costs. Of course, I've written about the Catholic intimacy with violence on the Irish waterfront. And very similarly, analogously, when a dissident dock worker was beaten half to death on a pier, the explanation generally proffered was he fell down and hurt himself. Because the mechanism of control for the Catholic moral order is always there, it's ever present. It's a question of if you put yourself in the wrong situation or position, you're likely to get hurt. It takes away the agency and even the personal responsibility for the people throwing the knives and doing the hurting, in fact, which is, I think, very interesting in light of so many elements of recent and older Catholic history, certainly the 20th century. Of course, the gender issue. Amy Collinger is now writing about the gender dimension, some of these issues of violence and boxing and masculinity. The thing that's really striking about this video is you almost always, in the annals of knife throwing, is always a male thrower and a female target. These are called the arts of impalement, this technique or this discipline. What we have here are very characteristic and representative of American Catholic pedagogy. Gender segregated, single sex, all female audience, throwers, targets, nuns. It's a remarkable, and if you get a chance to see it again, I hope you do at the end. It's easy to overlook the nuns in the background. These nuns are sort of physically, the nuns represent this kind of boundary, and the mom is on the other side, and in between are these Catholic schoolgirls. And the most important thing is to gauge the response of those Catholic schoolgirls. They're not keeping still. They're in motion. They're all over the place. And the narrator even makes the comment that they have less faith than the mom. Presumably the mom and the nuns have the most faith that this is going to work out, because those little girls, those two little Irish girls, obviously have learned all the behaviors of the Catholic moral order. It was often the case in my memory that younger children would be held up as exemplars of this moral order when older children seemed to be failing. So there you have it. Those are the things I find the most striking and most distinctive about it. It's really a remarkable visual demonstration. Now, of course, I just want to point out, too, I'm currently involved in trying to write this book about two moral orders that I've experienced in my lifetime, the one being the Catholic moral order, which is very well represented in this video, and then the other one I call them the autistic moral order, which this dispensation which we currently live, and putting myself as the ADHD king in between as kind of an exemplar of a kind of a moral potential and sometimes real moral disorder, which is mediated between these two other ones. And so, although I've made a preferential option for the autistic moral order, I don't deny the value in terms of a vocation and what I'm doing right now, the opportunity to just continue to try to understand the nature of this Catholic moral order, which formed me. And in fact, in class yesterday when I showed this, it was really moving. All kinds of discussions came up about faith healing and snake handling and Abraham and Isaac and so many other issues, and I expressed some of my reservations about these traditions, and one student said, yeah, but you're still here, right? And I'm still here, and I'm grateful. So thanks, everybody, and have a good time down there in Baltimore, and appreciate the opportunity to be with you this way.